Hello and welcome to another great, entertaining and informative edition of Enterprise Weekend today. Most importantly, because today, the 8th of March 2025, is the day the world have chosen to celebrate International Women's Day. And on behalf of the entire team of Enterprise Television, we join women around the world to celebrate their day. My name is Henry. We'll be starting off today with our newspapers, and right after that would be our main conversation also for today. Please do well to be part of what we do. You can always find and reach us at enterprisetvnews.com. You may equally like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at enterprise.tv7. I'm very honored to have with me in the studios David Ikojo. He is an advocate for youth awareness in Nigeria. Good morning to you, David, and welcome.
Good morning, Mr. Henry.
Thank you so very much. All right, so let's start off today with the first daily on our desk and the Punch newspaper, because of course it is the weekend. We would love to do a little bit of soft news here and there, and out of that, on the Saturday Punch, we have how I now live in regret after boyfriend poured acid on me, and that is a digital marketer. And we have a very gory image of the lady in question here. And the question is, especially as we celebrate World International Women's Day, the question is, why would a man, a supposed lover and a boyfriend get to do something that despicable on a woman? David, what do you think would lead to a man going to an extent of pouring acid on the face of someone that he believes he loves?
First of all, I won't even say that they had a normal fight at home, because no one keeps acid in their house.
Okay.
So that means something would have happened, that it required the guy for him to go to the market, purchase acid, and come and pour on her face. And that's something we know between women. This is the first time I'm hearing that a man will do that.
Really?
A woman. Or most especially a woman that he said he loves.
Yes.
So let's put a scenario where, let's say, she cheated.
Okay.
And he found out.
Which is usually the case,
Which most times is actually the case. So she cheated, he found out, and maybe he brought it up with her, and her response was not so well. And he went to the market, he did this, he did that, he poured acid on her. I can't put my head in a scenario where they should jail that guy. Because I cannot put my head in a scenario where we have a normal house issue. Let's say they are living together and there's a little dispute in the house. You do not expect me to understand that he left the house, went to the market, purchased acid, came back and poured on her face. If it is that, then they should jail that guy. I should jail him straight, because there is no reasonable reason. There is nothing we can say this is a tangible reason why he did this. We should, you know, when you go to court, there will be like, this is the reason why this happened. It came out of the response to this. So we should give him a lesser sentence. There is no reason we could hold strong, even for cheating. Cheating, I've always said, the best thing you do, if someone cheats on you, that's pure disrespect.
Okay. Not
just to the person's body, but to you. The person disregards of you. You are not important to the person. The person goes outside and gives their body to someone else. You find out, the next best thing you should do is leave. I don't even say, I will never preach forgive and forget. Leave. Once bitten, twice shy.
It is not as easy as that, David, especially for a man who has invested so much on a girl, because we have scenarios where a man invests monetarily, materially on a woman, and the woman in question on the reference is believed to be with him for as long as they have desired, and just at the point of solidifying that awesome relationship, the woman goes ahead to do what they know how to do best. So tell me,
that's not what they know how to do best.
Well, for some women, they understand that too very well, especially with the current situation we found ourselves today in Nigeria, the Gen Zs and all. But tell me, men have always been at the receiving end of the scenario I just painted now.
No, men has never been on the receiving end.
At the receiving end of having women cheat on them.
No.
Especially when such men have invested so much on the woman.
Okay, let's say for women, most times they always have reason why they cheat. men always come with this in a man's nature to cheat, which is a big fat lie. I'm working on a book. The name of the book is titled The System.
Okay.
Now the system explains that a community, a body of people stand up and they decide that this is what we should do. So let's say in the past, we've decided that there are so much men, there were so much women, we needed men to marry more than 2 wives, more than 1 wife. So they picked 2 or 3 to how strong your hand can carry. You can marry up to 5 if you can take care of 5. Now, along the line, then there was no education. You go to farm, you go to war, you go to building, you do your job, you get back, you provide for the family, everything the family needs you give. And now we've come into a situation where women started going to school, women started finding out that they could do things for themselves. And now we get to this situation now. Women have started doing what men used to do. They've decided that, okay, if men can do this, a woman can do it better. So women have gone into men field. There's a hashtag, women in men field. So women are cheating without looking back now. Now, coming to the aspect of the guy spending on the lady, I've always said that if you are in a relationship, the person is not, if you are dating someone to marry or to even just have a girlfriend, you are looking for prospective marriage, you are not to spend on the person what would harm you. Well, you are to spend on the person what you can easily let go of.
Well, that is being logical, because when it comes to romance, sometimes you don't even know when stop is stop. You know, because there's this thing, the romance is another world of its own. You know, that when you get into, you totally forget all this theory you've just stated here. And you, unless you don't love the person as much as you feel that you should love him, or love her, rather. So I guess that is another scenario on its own. Don't you think so?
I understand, but still, I will still preach it. If you want to buy a phone for a lady, don't start planning to buy a 15. Start planning iPhone, of course. Don't start planning to buy a 15. Start from an X. Something you can easily let go of. Not when you buy iPhone, you find out that this is what she's doing. You now go.
But what if she pressures you to buy the iPhone 16?
15 or 16.
16, yeah.
Then she should get ready to do what it takes to end the phone.
Okay, and that is actually what leads to to sort of this issue that we see today, unfortunately. But let's take a look at another issue here: how older female relatives prey on young boys for sexual pleasure. Now, this is the reverse of the case. The first one was a man haunting a woman. The second issue here on the reference is older female women preying on younger male folks.
You know, men have never really seen it as a pedophilic situation, but if for a young boy starts having sexual intercourse from a very young age, because a relative is making use of him, it's going to cause hypersensitivity.
On who?
Hypersexuality on
for the boy.
So he grows into a state where, and for an older lady who has been in this business, to introduce a very young boy, let's say the boy is 15, 16, into that business, she's going to show him in a way that someone who has just lost her virginity will not be able to keep up with what this lady has shown this guy. So now it gets to a situation where this guy is not satisfied. He starts looking outside. Now let's not even go that far. This is wrong in every situation you want to put it. It even being a relative even makes it worse. Because why are you preying on your brother's son? Why are you preying on your brother's child? That does not make sense. What happened to all the men in the world? If you want to pick a boy on the road, a pimp on the road, you can drive and pass by one and pick. You don't have to prey on, is it money that they don't have? These relatives, most times, they have money. But just to keep their dignity. And they have husbands. They have friends. But just to keep their dignity intact, they will go and prey on a young boy that knows nothing, feed him with lies, and in the lie, they also, you know, give him small change to hold, to seal his mouth. And then they'll keep spoiling this boy little by little, little by little. And I've always told people that the environment you grow, you raise a boy in is very important, because raising a boy, let's say you have 4 girls and your last child is a boy. Now that boy grows up seeing his elder sisters not wearing bra around the house. He's going to grow into it, and then he'll be walking around the street and seeing women not wearing bra. To him, it's becoming a normal thing.
Okay.
Normally, it's not even ethically correct for a lady to be walking around and her nipples are showing. It is not correct, but women has removed it. They want freedom. They ask for freedom. They got freedom. So they walk around dress however they want to dress. Now, it is not moral for a young boy to grow. Now, this boy is going, let's say, even in a Christian home. But just because he has seen his sisters do something like this, it is now a normal thing for him. So now, because this boy grew into being molested by an elderly lady, he's obviously going to one day in the future start looking at his siblings' children. And at that time, girls don't particularly know how to keep stuff. It comes off as pedophilic reaction and people jail him, they beat him up, they put him in jail. They don't know that this is where he stemmed out from. And maybe by that time when this has already backfired on the man, the woman who brought him into this field would have gone to meet her maker. So this is a very wrong thing. People like that, we should report, we need to do an awareness so that when young people are being molested by their elders, they know what this thing that when a man touches you, you get pregnant, that parents are doing. We should stop doing that. Tell your child that this is what it actually is. So even if a relative is already doing that, they will know that this is wrong, and they can also put it forth. So we need to do an enlightenment on how parents will enlighten their children to avoid things like this, and how parents will enlighten their children to avoid unwanted pregnancy too. Because something like this, you hear a scenario where you say that your uncle's child is the father of, is your last. Let's say a woman telling her husband that your brother's child is the father of your last child. That does not make sense at all.
Yeah, very gory actually. It's not just a scenario or a story we would love to hear. Especially, I think it's very important, just like David did say, that we should preach reproductive justice awareness. It's so very important. So ladies, both male and female, can understand their reproductive, awareness and know how to balance some of those things. But on the Vanguard today, Saturday Vanguard that is, we have held a medical dilemma as teen girl conceives from oral sex. Yes, that made actually, it's on page 20 of the Saturday Vanguard newspaper. David, you have a little bit of a stint on medical study. Is it ever possible for a woman to conceive via oral sex?
Again, is lying. It's not possible. It's not possible in any way. There's nothing that relates the digestive system to the reproductive system. Nothing that correlates the respiratory system to the digestive system. Everything is a system of its own.
But that's what they call. That's why they call the medical dilemma. So that's
like
the possibility
that
might
girl
happen.
Is telling a lie. She should go and tell the truth. There is no way that out of oral sex she gets pregnant. There is no. It's not
so
a
you don't
dilemma.
believe in the conception?
I don't believe in it. It's not a dilemma. There's been no scenario, and the scenario is not going to start from Nigeria. There's been no scenario reported anywhere that someone had oral sex and then came out pregnant. If it's like that, then we would have heard of a scenario a long time ago, not in 2025. This didn't start now.
Well, someone would say the Immaculate Conception. As a scenario, because some of these things are very difficult to understand, because left for the young girl, she might say she never had a one-on-one. It was just purely the oral thing that has led to her. So maybe, don't you think it's an opportunity for medical sciences to open that door to study, to know if it's ever possible?
They should open the door and study. But right now, teenagers who are new to hormones, who their hormones are just building up. Well, now the age was not specified, but let's give her between 13 and 19.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure someone that is doing this is above 16.
Okay.
So now let's give her 15 to 19, right? At this stage, she's just new to reproductive hormones. Her body is pouring estrogen into her now. Estrogen is what mostly gives women curves. Okay. Is what gives them big breasts and all those stuff. It's estrogen for them. Now, she's new to this. Her body is haywire, this and that. She cannot tell me that a newly formed body, that is just receiving this endowment, would conceive over oral sex, when people have been doing this a long time ago.
People have been doing what?
People have been having this oral sex a long time ago.
Okay. And
in her own case, probably something happened. If she says that, okay, they rubbed their private parts. No insertion was made.
Okay.
But they rubbed their private parts. And let's say he ejaculated over her private parts. We could say, okay, there was no insertion, but because he ejaculated on her private part, there could have been a leak, a little would have slipped in, and fertility. She got pregnant. You can't say that she got pregnant over oral sex. I'm not going to believe that at all. That's a big, fat, blatant lie.
But do you think, as a young person, do you think that the world had gone haywire, especially with what we see today on social media? Some social media before now used to X-ray some of the things they allow published on their platform. Now it is no longer the same. When you go to major social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, you see very sensual things that you don't see before now. So how do you think parents can better help their children to, even when they can't stop them from saying these things, but help them not to be involved in the consequences of what they see?
One, your child is living in your house. Okay. If you are the one that bought the child the phone, I've said this time without number, I don't think because you want to give your child privacy, you cannot have a day that you sit down on that phone and see what the child is doing. It doesn't have to be every time.
So micromanage the child, is that what you're saying?
Yes, micromanagement. It doesn't have to be regularly. But let's say once in 6 months, out of the blue, you call your child and you bring, child sits there, you open the phone, you go through. Maybe you are not even going through chats. But let's say you are going through, and let me tell you something. There's something called FYP, For You page. Now, it is what you search, it is what you like, it is what you comment in that all the platforms will bring back to you. Now, for someone who likes cars, what you should see out of 10 scrolls, out of 10 you see 5 cars. Then maybe random stuff here, random stuff here. But for, let's say, if this person now looks at ladies, a guy, he looks at ladies. Once you pick up their phone and you go through their TikTok, you go through their Instagram, you go through their Facebook, what you should see is what this person likes and views. So if you pick up their phone and you see that, okay, this is the line of what is always coming up on your child's TikTok For You page, you know that this is what your child is seeing, this is what your child is liking. And if you are also familiar with TikTok, if you check, there's a part of TikTok that shows you what this person, on the person's account, you can check what the person has been liking.
Really?
You can backdate the person likes and comments, you can check all of those. Now, you can also educate them what is wrong and what is right. And also, now that we are in the phone age, it is getting rampant that children will see things that they don't want to see, things that you didn't teach them. So you start telling them what is wrong and what is right. There should even be something called phone education, how to properly use a phone. Because most times these kids, they don't use their phone properly. Even adults don't use their phone properly. 80% of what the phone is made for, they don't know. They just use make call, search videos, do this, do that. There are a lot of things. Like now, there's a phone that just came out this year. It can connect you directly to the satellite.
Oh, wow.
Directly. So if you have an SOS situation, or you need to call someone, but you are in the middle of nowhere, you can get through to the satellite to reach out to wherever you need to. Yeah, there are a lot of things that people don't know. Now we need to educate children on what to do with a phone, how to use a phone, what they should be doing with their phones, how they can read with their phones, how they can make productive things with their phone. It's not just about sitting down and scrolling through TikTok. But yes, always check what your child is doing.
All right, that's very awesome advice from David, asking parents to always do check on what their children, go through on that same phone they have gone through to buy for them. It's so very important. Most importantly, as we celebrate International Women's Day, it's important we protect our children, not just giving them what they want, but also be there to help them navigate some of the things that we have provided for them. David Ikojo will be here to take us on our main conversation, and that it will be on International Women's Day with the team Accelerate Action. That in a beat, please don't go anywhere.